Are you confident at this point saying that there's not going to be any price increases coming from Ford trucks or cars this summer?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I'm not going to be specific about our pricing, but I will say one thing. We're announcing today that we're going to extend our employee pricing through July 4th.
Ford is recalling nearly 300,000 diesel-powered F-Series trucks. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the vehicle's fuel pumps may fail and cause a loss of power, increasing the risk of a crash.
Well, thank you, Laura, for having me on. First of all, we build more vehicles in the U.S. than any other brand. We export more and we have more factory workers. So we never left the U.S. And our plan is really simple, to offer employee pricing, basically the price I pay or anyone at the company pays for all Americans.
Before you even think about stepping foot on a Ford dealership lot, there are a few things you need to know. Because while Ford still has a strong reputation and sells millions of vehicles every year, not everything is as smooth as the commercials make it seem. From hidden reliability issues to dealership tactics that could cost you thousands, we're breaking down 10 must-know secrets that most drivers never hear until it's too late. Whether you're looking for a truck, SUV, or sedan, these are the facts Ford doesn't exactly advertise. Most drivers walk into a Ford dealership expecting the F-150 to be the bulletproof truck it's always been hyped up to be. Ford's best-selling truck for decades, sure, tough as nails, not so fast. What they don't tell you is that the current generation F-150, especially models built between 2021 and 2023, has faced a laundry list of early reliability concerns that should make any serious buyer pause. We're talking about transmission jerks, electrical system bugs, and software glitches that have left plenty of new owners stranded or back at the dealer weeks after driving off the lot. The big issue? Ford's rush to roll out new tech and hybrid versions of the F-150 came with a trade-off, and that trade-off was real-world durability. Forums are full of frustrated owners reporting that the 10-speed automatic transmission hesitates or clunks into gear, especially in early morning starts or when shifting from park to drive. One Reddit user who owned both a 2020 and a 2022 said the newer one felt confused half the time. A common sentiment echoed across repair shops and YouTube mechanic channels. And while Ford has issued software updates to address some of these problems, the underlying cause often points to poor calibration and inconsistent quality control during manufacturing. This isn't about bashing Ford, it's about recognizing that what was once a legacy of durability now carries more caveats than ever. If you're buying an F-150 thinking you're getting a bulletproof workhorse, you could be in for a rude awakening when the warranty period ends and those quirks start showing up more frequently. And let's talk about that hybrid version. The Power Boost Hybrid F-150 sounds great on paper, better fuel economy, instant torque, and even the ability to power your tools or house in an emergency. But early adopters are reporting that this system isn't as refined as Ford claims. Multiple owners have faced powertrain malfunctions, weird electrical errors, and even total shutdowns, all tied to that complex hybrid setup. And the worst part? Many dealerships are still getting trained on how to actually fix these problems. So before you get sold on that flashy sales pitch and the Built Ford Tough mantra, ask to see the service records for similar models, check forums, and read through TSBs, technical service bulletins, that cover known issues. Because the last thing you want is to drop $50,000 plus on a truck that spends more time in limp mode than on the road. Now let's move on, because this next one hits even harder if you're eyeing a Mustang. If you're heading into a Ford dealership with dreams of driving off in a brand new Mustang, slow down, because there's a dark side to this iconic muscle car that most buyers don't hear about until it's way too late. Sure, the Mustang GT sounds incredible on a test drive, and yeah, that EcoBoost engine looks like a budget-friendly way to own a piece of American muscle, but what's hiding under that hood and in your long-term maintenance budget is a different story entirely. Let's start with the EcoBoost. Ford's turbocharged 2.3-liter four-cylinder engine was supposed to be a game changer, offering Mustang buyers solid performance with better fuel efficiency. And for the first few thousand miles, it delivers exactly that. But as these engines age, real-world data paints a different picture. Multiple independent mechanics and former dealership techs have noted a disturbing pattern of engine knocking, carbon buildup on intake valves, and oil dilution problems. In fact, a popular Ford technician on YouTube broke down down how the EcoBoost's direct injection system contributes to accelerated wear and tear, especially for drivers who use regular gasoline instead of premium, or who skip routine oil changes even slightly. Now you might be thinking, well, I'll just go for the V8 and avoid all that. And while the Mustang GT's 5.0-liter V8 is a legend in its own right, even it has its own skeletons, especially in models built from 2018 to 2021, where a troubling trend started popping up: engine tick. Thousands of Mustang owners began reporting a persistent ticking sound coming from the engine bay, often noticeable during idle or low RPM driving. At first, Ford brushed it off as normal mechanical noise, but it got louder, literally and figuratively, as more owners uploaded videos, filed complaints, and pushed for answers. Eventually, Ford acknowledged the issue but insisted it wasn't harmful, yet many engine builders and experienced technicians argue otherwise, pointing to potential issues with valve lash adjusters, cam phasers, or piston slap. Some even recommend complete engine teardowns after 60,000 miles if the tick gets worse. And the real kicker? If it starts after your powertrain warranty expires, the repair bill could be anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 depending on the shop and parts involved. It gets worse when you factor in the transmission. The 10-speed automatic, which Ford co-developed with GM, is an incredibly complex piece of machinery that promises lightning-quick shifts. But in Mustangs, it's also been linked to shuddering, delayed gear engagement, and yes, outright transmission failure in extreme cases. One Reddit user documented their journey through 3 transmission replacements in under 20,000 miles before Ford finally bought the car back under lemon law protection. Think that's rare? Look up the NHTSA complaints and customer forums. There's a pattern, and it's not pretty. And for those who still believe in manual or bust, don't get too comfortable. The MT82 6-speed manual transmission used in many Mustangs has been the center of lawsuits and long-standing owner frustration. It's been known for notchy shifts, lockouts, and higher RPMs, and clutch issues that turn spirited driving into a headache. Some drivers have even reported needing to double clutch just to get into second gear, and when you bring it up at the dealership, they'll likely smile and say, it's within spec. Combine that with rapid tire wear, high brake maintenance, and increasing insurance costs due to a spike in Mustang-related accidents among younger drivers, and the long-term cost of owning one can spiral far beyond what you budgeted for. Sure, it's fun, yes it's loud, but if you're buying a Mustang as a daily driver, especially without a warranty or proper research, you might be signing up for a high-octane headache. Because that thrill you felt on the test drive, it fades fast when your car's in the shop more than on the road, and if you think the dealership's gonna warn you, not a chance. Sales reps are trained to upsell the excitement and gloss over the hard truths. That's why some buyers walk in excited and walk out exhausted, financially and emotionally, after only a year of ownership. But don't worry, the next model on our list proves you don't even need a V8 to face major issues. Just look at what's going on with the Explorer. Most drivers walk into a Ford dealership thinking the Explorer is a safe bet. It's big, bold, and comes with a legacy of being one of America's favorite family SUVs. But what you probably don't realize is that today's Ford Explorer is suffering from something that plagues a lot of modern vehicles: an identity crisis. And that's not just marketing talk, it's affecting the performance, reliability, and long-term cost of ownership in serious ways. Let's start with the basics. Ford offers the Explorer in so many trims and drivetrain combinations: rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, hybrid, ST performance models, luxury style platinum trims. You'd think you were shopping for 5 different vehicles, not one SUV. And that's exactly where the problem begins. Because while variety might look good on the lot, behind the scenes, it leads to major complexity in design, parts, and service procedures. And complexity, that's the enemy of reliability. Take the 2020 to 2022 Explorer models, for example. When Ford shifted the Explorer back to a rear-wheel drive-based platform, they were aiming for better driving dynamics and more flexibility. But what they didn't expect was the avalanche of quality control problems that came with that change. Early production models faced serious issues with the transmission, software calibration, and electrical systems. It got so bad that in 2019, right after the new design launched, Ford had to halt shipments to fix hundreds of issues before the vehicles even left the factory. That alone should tell you something. But the issues didn't stop there. Many owners reported problems with the powertrain, like rough shifting, hesitation under load, and complete loss of power at highway speeds. One of the more common complaints? The vehicle suddenly downshifting or upshifting erratically, almost like the transmission couldn't decide what gear it wanted to be in. Not exactly what you want to experience with your kids in the back seat. Ford issued multiple technical service bulletins for these problems, but many drivers say their issues never fully went away, even after several dealer visits. And then there's the hybrid model. On paper, the Explorer Hybrid offers solid fuel economy and towing capacity, making it seem like a great choice for families who want to save at the pump without sacrificing utility. But the reality, this powertrain has been plagued with quirks since its release. Owners have documented loud engine noises, surging during acceleration, and battery-related glitches that trigger random error messages on the dash. And here's the worst part, many of these problems are intermittent, which means the dealership might not be able to replicate the issue during your visit, leaving you with a car that still acts up, but no fix in sight. It's not just about mechanical issues either. The Explorer's interior quality, especially on mid-trim models, has drawn heavy criticism from reviewers and owners alike. Think hard plastics, uneven panel gaps, and rattling noises that show up after just a few thousand miles. You pay $45,000 for a new family SUV, and the door panel starts buzzing every time you hit 30 miles per hour. That's not a premium experience. It's frustrating, and it chips away at the sense of quality Ford promises in its advertising. Even Consumer Reports and JD Power have been less than kind. The Explorer has consistently ranked below average in reliability scores compared to rivals like the Toyota Highlander or Kia Telluride, and that means long-term ownership costs could creep up fast, not just in terms of repairs, but also in depreciation. A car with spotty reliability loses value quicker, and if you're financing, that can trap you in a negative equity cycle by year 3. Here's another fun fact most dealerships won't admit. Depending on the engine choice, the Explorer has very different maintenance needs. The 2.3-liter EcoBoost requires more frequent oil changes due to turbo stress, while the 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 in the ST model needs premium fuel and has been linked to coolant intrusion issues in other Ford applications. So unless you're doing deep research before buying, you could end up with an engine that demands more care and more cash than you ever expected. And yet the sales team will still pitch the Explorer as a refined, tech-savvy SUV for today's families. They won't mention the recalls, the reliability scores, or the fact that some owners have had their Explorers in the shop more than on the road in the first year. They'll point to the big touchscreen, the panoramic sunroof, and the safety features, but they won't tell you that some of those very features, like the Copilot 360 Driver Assist Suite, have also been the source of false alarms, hard braking, and sensor malfunctions. So if you're looking at an Explorer, you need to know this. It's not the worst SUV on the market, but it might be the most inconsistent. You could get lucky and drive one that's rock solid for years, or you could get the one that seems cursed from day one. That gamble? It's not something you should take lightly, especially with a vehicle that's meant to protect your family. Coming up next, though, is something Ford rarely talks about openly. It's not a model, not a trim, and not even a mechanical issue. It's a strategy, a dealership tactic that quietly bleeds thousands from your wallet without you even noticing. And it's been happening for years. This one isn't about a specific model. It's about a game dealerships have been playing for decades. And if you're not paying attention when you walk onto that Ford lot, you could get caught in a trap that adds thousands to your vehicle price before you even touch the gas pedal. Most drivers think the negotiation ends once the sticker price is agreed on, but that's actually when the dealership really gets to work. And Ford dealerships, they've practically perfected the art of the add-on. Here's what happens. You finally settled on your vehicle, agreed on a monthly payment, maybe even shaken hands with the salesperson, but then they walk you back to the finance office, and that's where the trap is waiting. Suddenly they start talking about extended warranties, paint protection, nitrogen-inflated tires, fabric sealants, VIN etching, theft protection packages, smart glass upgrades, ceramic coatings, anti-rust sprays. You name it. Most of these items are already pre-installed or baked into the paperwork before you even get a chance to ask questions. And if you're not careful, you'll sign on the dotted line and drive away thinking it was all part of the vehicle cost. But here's the truth. Most of these add-ons are pure profit for the dealership. Take nitrogen-inflated tires, for example. Ford doesn't recommend it. Most tire shops don't even offer it anymore. And the science behind it improving tire life or fuel economy, paper thin at best. Yet dealerships routinely charge $200 to $300 for it just because they can. Or how about paint protection film? Sure, Sure, it has value, but not at the ridiculous $1,500 markup dealerships slap on it when the same job can be done at a high-end detailer for half the price. And don't even get me started on extended warranties. Many Ford dealerships push third-party warranty programs that sound official but aren't backed by Ford Motor Company. That means if your car breaks down, you might end up arguing with a third-party claims department that's trained to deny repairs, not approve them. Even the Ford-backed warranties are often overpriced compared to what you could get directly through Ford's own online portal or from competing insurers. One buyer on a Mustang forum reported being quoted $3,400 for an extended powertrain warranty that they later found online for under $1,600. Same terms, same coverage. It's not just the big stuff either. Dealerships have started quietly tacking on market adjustment fees in recent years, especially for high-demand models like the Bronco or Maverick. That $45,000 SUV you saw advertised, it might be $51,000 by the time you walk out, just because they decided it's popular enough to justify the increase. And the worst part, many salespeople don't disclose it until after you've fallen in love with the vehicle during the test drive. At that point, you're emotionally invested and they know it. Now here's the dirty little secret. Most of these fees are negotiable and are completely removable, but only if you catch them before you sign. That's why it's crucial to request a full itemized breakdown of every single cost in the deal before you go into the finance room. And if you see something called a Pro Pack or a dealer protection package listed with a vague description and a $1,200 price tag, ask them exactly what's included and how much of it is optional. Spoiler alert, usually all of it. Another dealership tactic, pre-installing accessories like all-weather floor mats, wheel locks, or even cargo nets, and then acting like it's non-negotiable. It comes with the car, they'll say, but what they mean is, we added it so we could charge you more. These are $50 to $100 items at best, but when the dealership throws them in without consent, they might mark them up 400% and hide the cost in your final paperwork. Finance managers are trained to make it all sound like smart, protective decisions. They'll use phrases like, it's just a few bucks more per month, or you'll thank yourself when something goes wrong. But the reality is that these small add-ons can easily turn a good deal into a bad one. In some cases, the total cost of dealer-added products can exceed $5,000, on top of your down payment and taxes. And when those extra charges are folded into your loan, you're not just paying $5,000, you're paying interest on $5,000. And yes, even things like gap insurance, which can be valuable, are often marked up 2 or 3 times over what your own auto insurer would charge. Most buyers don't know they can shop around for GAP coverage. The dealership wants to keep it that way, so here's the bottom line. Ford dealerships aren't unique in this tactic, but they are aggressive, especially in high-volume metro areas where each finance manager is expected to squeeze maximum profit out of every customer. If you don't know what to look for, it's easy to get blindsided. Always ask for a buyer's order, which lists all fees before you finalize anything. Read every page before signing. And if something feels off, walk away. They'll call you back. You'd be surprised how quickly those mandatory charges suddenly become flexible when you threaten to leave. And remember, the car business isn't just about selling vehicles anymore. It's about maximizing margin. And you're the margin, unless you come prepared.